All right, let's dive deep today because we're talking about how to make Europe great again. Boost its competitiveness on the world stage. You know, the whole shebang.
And not just about catching up with the other big players either.
All right.
It's about figuring out what makes Europe special
Oh, yeah.
and how to really leverage those strengths so everyone benefits.
I like that.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack there. And lucky for us,
Yeah.
we've got these two reports to guide us. One's from the European Commission, big picture stuff.
Okay.
The other one's packed with examples of how other countries are dealing with all this.
I see.
It's a staff working document. Buckle up.
All right.
We're going to figure out what it really means to be competitive these days.
You know, one thing that always fascinates me about this whole competitiveness thing,
Yeah.
it's not just some
Right.
abstract economic thing.
Yeah.
It affects everyone's quality of life.
Oh, for sure.
If businesses are doing well,
Mhm.
they're creating jobs, they're paying better.
Makes sense.
That means a more stable economy,
Right.
more money for healthcare,
Totally.
education, all the good stuff.
Okay, makes sense.
Public parks.
Love a good park.
Exactly.
But these reports, they don't sugarcoat anything either. They lay out some pretty big challenges
Oh,
Europe's facing.
definitely.
Did you know that electricity prices here are 2 or 3 times higher than in the U.S.?
It's huge.
It's massive.
It's massive.
How are businesses supposed to compete with that?
And it's not just a number on a page either, right?
No.
This is a fundamental cost that affects every industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the reports dig into why it's happening.
Oh.
It's the war in Ukraine, the energy crisis, even Europe's
Right.
own green goals.
Yeah.
It all adds up to higher costs
Mm-hmm.
and puts our businesses at a real disadvantage.
Like trying to run a race with weights strapped to your ankle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it shows
Yeah,
we got to be strategic about energy.
for sure.
How to make the switch to clean energy
Right.
affordable too.
Yeah. So it works for everybody.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder what some business owner in Germany is thinking,
Oh, absolutely.
flipping through these reports.
Yeah.
I see they're not just worried about energy. There's a
Mm.
ton about regulations,
Oh, yeah.
getting access to financing, and the
Mhm.
lack of skilled workers.
Definitely recurring themes in the reports.
Yeah, it comes up.
Over and over.
Regulations,
Yeah.
they exist for good reasons, right?
Mhm.
To protect consumers, the
Huge.
environment, all that.
Makes sense.
But when there's too much red tape,
Yeah.
it can really stifle things,
Mm-hmm.
make it harder for businesses to compete, especially the smaller ones.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're the backbone, right,
Right.
of our economy.
Yeah. Right.
We need them to thrive.
Absolutely.
So yeah, regulations need to be looked at carefully.
The reports even have this thing called
Okay.
the Single Market Barriers Tracker. Basically a list of all the roadblocks to trade within the EU.
And some of these examples are wild.
Really?
Imagine having to make separate labels for each country in the EU
I can't use
just because of little language differences on the packaging.
Seriously.
It's crazy.
That's a nightmare, especially for smaller companies.
Yeah, it's like taking 2 steps back for every step forward.
Exactly. And that's where the single market needs some work.
Right.
You know, that idea of a giant playground where companies can collaborate,
Yeah.
do business easily,
Right.
it needs a tune-up.
Okay, so less red tape, more consistency. But what does that mean for,
Yeah.
the average person? What does a unified,
Great.
efficient single market actually do for their lives?
Well, it means a better quality of life.
Right.
More jobs, potentially higher wages, a more stable economy.
Makes sense.
Think about it. More resources for healthcare,
Yeah.
education, infrastructure, all that.
Yeah, even those cool public parks we were talking about.
Exactly. And it gives Europe a stronger voice globally, too.
Oh, I see.
We can better defend our values and interests when we're strong at home.
So it's not just about the economy. It's
Yeah.
about having a real impact on the world.
It all ties together.
I like it.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of competitiveness.
Yeah.
Innovation.
Ah, innovation.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a cool new gadget.
Oh, for sure.
But how do we define that in this context? Is it just tech?
It's bigger than just tech, right? It's
Everyone.
finding totally new ways of doing things.
Oh, okay.
Like those cutting-edge clean energy solutions or even rethinking healthcare.
Right.
It's about solving problems in creative ways.
I see. So it's really about the approach.
Yeah.
Not just the thing itself.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Europe needs to be more innovative.
For sure.
But the reports also point out something interesting.
What's that?
We're good at the ideas part,
Okay.
but not so good at turning those ideas into successful businesses.
Ah, so the execution.
Yeah, there's a gap there.
Interesting.
And one of the most striking things in these reports
Hmm.
is this chart that shows venture capital investment
Oh,
compared to GDP.
right.
Europe is way behind the US and China.
Wow.
We're not taking enough risks.
So we need to loosen up a bit.
Yeah,
Be more willing to bet on those big ideas.
exactly. Think about companies like Google or Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
They started as risky startups.
Right.
Now look at them.
Huge impact.
We need that kind of environment here.
Where those game changers can come up right here at home.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to see how all this fits together now.
Yeah.
The single market, the risk, the innovation,
It's all connected.
and it's all about the well-being of people.
Exactly. It's about people.
Yeah, that's what matters.
And that's just the beginning. We've got to factor in all the global shifts happening, too.
Oh, yeah. Things are getting shaken up out there.
Oh, for sure.
Geopolitical tensions, supply chains going haywire.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's like musical chairs, but with the whole world economy.
It really is. And the reports make it clear
Yeah.
Europe can't just sit back and watch.
Right.
Now, there's no full-blown deglobalization happening,
Okay.
but trade is definitely changing.
Interesting.
Companies are reshoring, bringing production back home, and nearshoring, choosing partners closer by.
So not closing borders, but
Yeah,
being smarter about who we work with.
exactly.
But what does that mean for Europe's role in all this?
That's the million-euro question, isn't it?
Maybe we should take a breath here.
Yeah, good idea.
Let everyone digest what we've covered.
Okay.
It's a lot to take in,
For sure.
but I'm already getting a clearer picture of what's at stake.
Sounds good to me. So, welcome back to our deep dive. We've been talking a lot about European competitiveness, and one of the key themes in these reports is resilience.
Okay, resilience. It's a bit of a buzzword these days, isn't it? Everyone wants to be more resilient.
Yeah, you hear it everywhere.
But what does it actually mean for Europe,
Well, it's not just about being tough or like weathering a storm.
Okay.
It's about bouncing back, learning from challenges, even thriving when things get tough.
Like having shock absorbers for the economy.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can handle those bumps in the road.
Precisely.
But how do you even measure something like that?
Well, there's no one magic formula,
Okay.
but these reports actually look at what other countries are doing.
Interesting.
It's like a buffet of strategies.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me some examples.
Okay, so the U.S. has been investing heavily in clean energy and semiconductors.
Right.
They're betting big on the industries of the future.
So it's about anticipating what's coming.
Yeah, and making sure you're not left behind.
Makes sense.
Another example is China.
Okay.
They've been focused on building up their own capabilities, investing like crazy, buying foreign companies, and
Right.
reducing their reliance on outside suppliers.
It's like a high-stakes game of catch-up.
Exactly. They want to be self-sufficient.
So what's Europe's recipe then? What do we need to focus on?
Well, the reports say one key thing is diversifying our supply chains,
Oh, okay.
not relying too much on any one supplier.
Spreading the risk.
Exactly. Especially for those critical raw materials we talked about.
Makes sense.
We got to explore new partnerships, invest in recycling,
So we're not stuck if something happens.
Right, have a plan B, maybe even a plan C.
Resilience is all about being prepared.
Absolutely. And another crucial ingredient is investing in skills.
Oh, yeah, we touched on that earlier.
It's so important, it's worth repeating.
Okay, why?
The job market's changing rapidly, right?
Automation and AI and everything.
We need a workforce that can adapt.
So they're ready for the jobs of tomorrow.
Exactly, even the ones that don't exist yet.
Right. It's not just about learning a specific skill.
It's more than that.
It's about being able to learn and adapt.
It's about creativity, problem solving.
Those are things robots can't do.
Yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But how do we actually make these changes happen?
Well, policy plays a big role,
Okay.
like tax incentives for training,
Mhm.
more flexible ways to acquire skills,
Right.
even funding innovative education programs.
So it's about making it easier for everyone to invest in their future.
Exactly.
But who's driving all this? Is it just the EU?
It's a team effort, really.
Uh,
The EU can provide funding and coordination,
right.
but individual countries have to step up too.
So, teamwork. What can individual countries do?
Well, they can tailor their education systems,
Mhm.
create business-friendly environments.
Attract skilled workers.
Exactly. It's about national and EU policies working together.
For more competitive Europe?
Exactly.
All of this sounds great.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking about the people.
Of course, that's what matters.
The reports talk about numbers and policies.
Yeah.
But what about the well-being of citizens?
That's crucial. Competitiveness isn't just about money and technology.
Yeah.
It's about people feeling valued and empowered.
Having a good quality of life.
Exactly. And the reports actually highlight Europe's strengths here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, things like our social safety net, our commitment to social justice.
Right.
These help create a sense of shared prosperity.
So it's about being competitive, but also fair.
Yeah, finding that balance.
Which brings us back to our original question.
Right.
How do we make Europe great again?
It's not a simple answer.
Definitely not.
It's a multifaceted approach.
Yeah.
Economic, social, even geopolitical factors.
And these reports give us a good roadmap.
They do.
But they also say there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Each country, each region will have its own path.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
But you know what? I'm feeling optimistic.
Me too.
We've got work to do, but we've also got a lot going for us.
Absolutely. And this is where we'd love to hear from our listeners.
Oh, yeah. What do you all think?
What resonated with you? What questions are you still pondering?
We've talked about Europe's strengths and weaknesses, resilience, investing in people, all that good stuff.
It's a lot.
It is. But these reports also get into some specifics
Okay.
that really show the choices Europe's facing.
Interesting.
One thing that jumped out at me was strategic dependencies.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's like this hidden web connecting the whole global economy.
Right. You tug on one thread and the whole thing unravels.
And the reports highlight some of Europe's vulnerabilities, especially with critical raw materials.
Yeah, those are essential.
The stuff we need for clean energy, tech, even defense.
And the problem is Europe relies heavily on imports for a lot of those materials.
Oh, I see.
Often from just a few countries.
So it's like a weak link in a chain.
Exactly.
The whole thing could break down.
It's a risk we can't afford to ignore.
So what can we do about it?
The reports suggest diversifying our suppliers.
Oh, good.
Investing in recycling and circular economy stuff.
Right, so we're not so reliant on new materials.
And even having stockpiles of essential things.
Like a backup plan. But it's not just about physical stuff, right?
No, it goes beyond that.
The reports talk about technology dependencies, too.
Like semiconductors.
Oh, yeah, those tiny chips are in everything these days.
And Europe doesn't produce enough of them.
We rely on imports, mainly from Asia.
Which could be a problem with all the geopolitical stuff going on.
Exactly.
The reports are clear. Europe needs to boost its own chip manufacturing.
So we're not at the mercy of other countries.
It means big investments.
Right?
Not just in factories, but research and development, too.
Right, and training people.
So they have the right skills.
It's a long game.
But it's a crucial one.
For Europe's competitiveness.
And our ability to control our own tech future.
It's about being proactive.
Not just reacting to what others are doing.
And that brings up another big theme from these reports.
Okay, what's that?
Collaboration.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Working together, both within Europe and with partners around the world.
These challenges are too big to go it alone. We need to pool resources, share knowledge.
Right, coordinate our strategies.
And the reports have some concrete examples.
Oh, like what?
Things like important projects of common European interest.
Those IPCEIs.
Yeah.
So different countries can team up on big projects.
Projects that benefit the whole EU.
Like a European dream team.
Exactly. But it goes beyond Europe, too.
Oh, right. Working with like-minded partners globally.
Countries that share our values.
To promote free trade, uphold standards.
To tackle those global challenges we can't solve alone.
It's about building a network of allies.
Exactly.
And, despite all the challenges we've talked about, these reports are actually pretty optimistic about Europe.
Oh, that's good to hear.
They highlight our strength.
Okay, like what?
Our skilled workforce, our commitment to sustainability, our social safety net.
All important stuff.
They say these are advantages in the global race.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
It's like they're saying, Europe, you've got this.
You have what it takes.
Just got to put it all together.
Exactly.
And that's the spirit I get from these reports.
Yeah, it's a call to action.
Not just complaining about problems.
But actively shaping our future.
Through smart policies, investments, and working together.
That's what it's all about.
This has been a really incredible deep dive. It has.
We've covered so much.
From those electricity prices to Europe's role in the world.
It's clear making Europe great again isn't easy.
No, it's complex.
But it's a journey full of possibilities.
I agree. And as we wrap up,
we
want to leave you with something to think about. These reports focus on the economy.
Hmm.
But what about the human side of all this?
Right, that's important.
How do we make sure everyone benefits?
Not just businesses.
How do we create a sense of optimism
For everyone, not just a few.
so that people believe in the future?
That's a great question to end on.
It's a reminder that Europe's success is about more than just numbers.
It's about people feeling valued, empowered, optimistic.
And that's a goal worth striving for together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope you found it informative.
And we encourage you to keep exploring these issues.
Share your own thoughts and perspectives.
Until next time.
Stay curious, stay engaged.
And keep diving deep.